Hey, all you addicts, before we get this podcast started, I got a couple quick announcements that I wanted to let you guys know about. First off, we have our summer merch drop coming. June 28th on the website, summer merch drop's launching. Tons of limited edition lures, tons of new merch, apparel, hats, you name it. There's some really, really cool stuff in this drop, guys. So mark your calendars, June 28th. And the second announcement before we get into the podcast is July 1st, guys. We have an Addicted Bash at Les Schwab in Salem on Mission Street. July 1st, Addicted Bash, Les Schwab in Salem on Mission Street. So mark your calendars. It's going to be a fun time. I'm going to be giving a fishing seminar on plunking. And then Cameron, Popoff, Jason, and Big Dave are going to be talking about salmon fishing. Whole bunch about salmon fishing. They're going to cover an array of topics. But like I said, mark your calendars, July 1st. All right, boys and girls, let's get into the podcast. Hey, everyone out there. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Addicted Fishing podcast. We got a good one today. We talked about social media etiquette last week, and we're going to roll right in. And I don't even think we covered everything on social media. We might have to do a whole nother one on that.
I kind of missed half of that one, and I apologize, but yeah. Man,
that one needs to be like an hour plus long one.
Oh, dude, we could go 2.5 hours, 3 hours
sure.
on.
So we'll do another social media one, but today we're going to just talk river etiquette. And as we're getting, we can start maybe a little bit with tributary, Jason, because that's kind of the stuff that's really happening, but then maybe dive into a little bit touching on some of the big boat stuff as we're going to be getting into those seasons coming up really quick.
There is no etiquette out there. It's every man for himself. My boat's bigger than yours, and I'll run your ass over. End of discussion.
But before we get started, got to give a huge shout out to Fish USA, guys. Today's sponsor of the podcast is Fish USA. We love those guys. They've been huge supporters of Addicted for years now. Every year they help us make a movie that we make for the sports shows they've been sponsoring. We love Fish USA. Check them out, guys. A lot of times when you're looking for tackle here in the Northwest, like if you go to Fisherman's or Bob's or Sportsman's and you can't find what you need, I pretty much almost guarantee Fish USA has it. They have almost damn near everything. And they have good selections of bass, walleye, trout, salmon, steelhead, kind of the array of everything. A lot of
niche stuff that you also don't find over here.
Yeah, a lot of real niche stuff. A lot of stuff that some of these guys here are actually using secretively, not telling you.
Or gatekeeping.
Gatekeeping.
Yeah. So shout out Fish USA. Thanks for being today's sponsor. Now let's get into some river etiquette.
My favorite thing in the world to do is figure out when Jason's launching his raft and then launch my raft 5 minutes before him and then fleece every hole in front of him.
Oh, here's my favorite thing to do. I like to wait until Jason launches and let him sit there in the dark for a couple hours, and then I just roll down at daylight and just post up right next to him in the exact same hole.
It's the best.
That he's been waiting on to fish.
Yeah.
But, dude, there was room next to you, right?
Yeah, you can drop an anchor. You're not touching. If you're not touching rods, you're fishing.
Is that good etiquette?
Is that weird?
It's questionable etiquette.
Oh.
I feel like this is where you draw the line, and I've seen you do this. We always ask. Every time I've ever been with you on a small river fishing, if we're rolling up to a hole, which I feel like you fish the rivers enough where you kind of know, okay, this is a little bit more of a community hole. Normally there's a couple guys fishing here.
Yeah.
You ask the boat. You roll up on him and you'll be like, hey, you mind if I drop in right here above you or right here below you and fish with you? And then usually the guy's cool. And then if not, we're like, all right. And then we just go down to the next hole. We got other places we can go.
That is proper small river etiquette.
Yeah.
That's just how that's the respectful way to go about it.
What if the hole is one of those holes that you could fit 3 rafts in, and the first guy there's no, I don't want you fishing here. I'm going to take this whole 100-yard stretch myself.
If he's going to be like that.
Then the gloves are off to the bank.
If he's going to be like that and it's a spot worth it, that's a spot where I'll literally, I'll play his game.
Pound sand.
I'll play his game and either sit there right next to him and wait on him and just lay eyes on him. Just be there.
Just make him feel uncomfortable.
And just make him feel uncomfortable.
What if the guy's
sometimes
350-pound logger.
Well, then I know I'm a lot quicker than him. But it kind of depends on where you're at too.
Yeah, it's so hard because some rivers and some holes, dude, are just people know that multiple boats post up in the hole.
And it's become more of a common thing over the years, especially in our tributary Springer fishery, where there's really especially when
sometimes
it gets
a couple holes.
Yeah, low and clear, they're really only going to be in maybe 3 spots.
And you got to think those 3 spots are not just the 3 spots for that river per se. It's like 3 spots probably in like the half of the state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just due to the fact that those fisheries are not there no more.
Yeah. So touching back on, if I do know it's a hole that usually supports 2 to 5 boats, and there's one guy in there that doesn't want me to fish with them.
Would you tell him that? You're like, hey man, this is usually like.
I would.
I already. Go ahead. So tell me that.
I probably would say like, hey man, I don't know if you're here all the time.
Oh my god, I'm gonna say it. It's my favorite thing in fishing.
I don't know if you're here all the time, but this is usually a spot that supports.
I've been fishing this river for 30 years.
Yeah, well, I've been fishing it for the last 30 days straight, bud, and I can tell you that there's been 3 to 5 boats in here
this river
every
since
day.
You were in diapers.
That's cool.
I actually had the guy tell me that one time. Pretty funny. I got a story about that later, but
Yeah, no,
what about that though? Then what?
Then I would say, okay, then I'll guess I'll go to the next spot, or I'll row out and relaunch and come right back behind you and catch my fish.
I usually just pull out one of my oars and hit him in the face with it.
No, I mean, seriously though, if I know the spot can support more than 2 to, more than just 1 boat, let's just say 2 to 6 boats, because I've specifically seen 6 boats in
all working together, making it happen.
A handful of spots. Yeah. And yeah, exactly. All working together, making it work. And I'll mention that to him. I'll mention that to the guy and try to explain myself and why.
I feel like a lot of etiquette faux pas, especially in the small river stuff with rafting and everything, like when you're kind of tight and stuff like that, is a lot of times just people just don't freaking know. Like they don't know that, okay, I ran down this river and I got this hole because I heard it was a good spot, and then they get in the hole and they don't realize that like 4 boats are probably going to anchor deck so many ways, despite what they think.
Mm-hmm.
Or vice versa, like you're in a hole that's kind of built for one, and they just kind of pull up on you. And
thing is usually though, in a lot of those holes, you still want to be in a specific spot, which is why you still launch early and still try to get to the hole, because you want to be sitting in the right spot of the hole usually.
Oh, sure.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a lot of it's situational, but
I think number one rule, ask.
Always.
Like you were saying, just the way that I've always approached it is just always ask.
Yeah, and usually if the guy is not being decent or he wants to be, I just don't want to let it ruin my day, and I was
just going to say, at what point in time do you like not have a good time with it, and then you give up and go do something else?
Yeah. Yeah, I usually just don't want it to ruin my day, or I get just really pissed off and then I let it ruin my whole day. It could go one or two ways depending on my mood.
I was gonna say, it can definitely turn that way real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if you're like 3/4 of the way down the float and you have there's that one spot down below, and like that there's probably a handful of fish in there, and the guy's like, "No, I've been here for 4 hours already." Okay, well, and you're not done. Like, come on, dude.
They're rolling right there, dipshit. Anyway.
Get on them.
It's funny too, because I fish a lot of these like Super 60 tournaments and stuff, right? And you're fishing a spot, you're fishing it, and some guy will like fly in and like cork you on your bank, and he'll give you like 30, 40 yards, but it's a move that like I would never do. And it's just obnoxious. But then I just put it in the back of my mind, like, if I pull up to a bank and I see, like, one of, like, 4 or 5 competitors that are there, and it's like, if I seen them, I'm like, oh, I have a list. I got a little list that, like, if I ever have that
if they're there, I'm going completely to another area.
If they're there, I'm going to cork it. I'm going to cork their ass.
Oh, okay.
And not feel bad about it, because I know that at one point in time they did it to me. And a lot of times around those small trips, like, you're running into the same people.
Bro,
Dude.
If I was in bass tournaments, it would be all gloves off. I would not give a flying F. You're competing for money. If you're within your legal right to bank right next to the guy, have you ever seen some of those tournaments where there's like 8 boats and they're all fishing
a
one
shell
spot?
bed? Yeah, believe it or not, there is like, and believe it or not, like in those tournaments, they have like an established like community hole like pecking order, and there is some merit to that. But like the other thing, but there is like a bunch of etiquette there too, where if like I see a guy set up on a rock pile for smallmouth or something, and he catches his fish the next day, like, and I have a better draw the second day, like, generally you don't go and try to steal that guy's spot. Like, you don't do that.
It's an etiquette thing.
It is a real. I'm just like forgetting like these.
What do you mean? You're competing against each other.
Believe it or not, you really don't. Like, but there are people that I will do that to. Like, there are people that have cut me off in the series that I'm like, and I'd imagine it's like you. It's like if you see like, a certain drift boat or a certain raft, and like they don't play nice in the sandbox, you're like, oh, I'm not gonna play nice in the sandbox next. I mean,
for sure,
you put them on that list.
100%.
Right.
Big
usually
red
when I
target on
see
the back.
Jason.
Yeah,
It's all hands off.
I just fish
dude.
behind him. It's no problem.
He just doesn't play nice in the sandbox.
Yeah. Dude.
What's the
It's
worst?
so funny.
What's the worst move you saw this year? If you have to have, do you have one?
Oh,
Just one, like the worst one, the one that's just like, if I see that son of a gun, he's getting corked. Low hold.
dude, honestly, everybody was pretty chill with me this year, but I definitely heard of some things that were not so chill.
No, I want one that happened to you in the last 3 years. Like, you gotta have
okay.
one. You gotta
last
have one.
3 years. Okay, so
Here we go.
I
Get 'em fired up.
get to the river 2 hours before legal fishing time, and in Washington you can legally start fishing an hour before legal sunrise. So I'm there literally 3 hours before sunrise, and I'm sitting in my spot. It's going to be gangbuster. I'm stoked. I'm the only one there, and this was a spot where it's usually a 1 to 2 boat spot. And my buddy had pulled in, and he asked me, he's like, "Hey man, you mind if I anchor up below you?" And I'm like, "Sure, cool. We'll kind of cork the spot off. Like, we'll be the only two in here. It'll be cool." Another guy rolls in about 20 minutes before, we could probably start fishing, and doesn't say a word. And so we're parked kind of close to the bank, like, because it's a pretty small river. You don't want to be, parked any closer because you'd be almost on the fish. And this guy comes and anchors up right on top of where we want to fish. And I look at my buddy, and we'd like have our headlamps on and everything. And we kind of had this like system, because it was usually him and I in the spot almost every day.
And you were there first, and that
we
is
were there
kind of the golden rule.
Yeah, yeah. And he gives me like this signal with his headlamp. He shakes it back and forth like, what's this guy doing? And and I asked the guy that anchored up in the middle, I go, "Hey man, we're kind of planning on fishing this in about 20, 25 minutes when we can start to see some bobbers." And he goes, "Oh, I'm going to sit here on plugs." I was like, well,
He's got it all figured out.
yeah. And I was like,
Was he a guide?
no.
Okay.
It's not a guide. Not a guide.
I've been fishing this river for 30. Okay.
And it wasn't even that situation. It was just kind of what you were saying earlier, is the guy just didn't really know.
Yeah.
And I explained to him very nicely, like, "Hey man, this is kind of a bobber spot where, a couple guys will anchor up kind of in the spot that I'm in, and this other raft is in,
We're
and
over
we'll
here
bobber
for
fish."
a reason.
Yeah. And we'll bobber fish the spot. And he goes, "Well, are you guys like still cool if I anchor up above you and stuff?" Or I can't remember if he said above or below, but we were like, "Not really, man. We've been here for the last hour and a half, 2 hours,
You guys were there
waiting
first.
to fish."
And he was in your cast.
Oh, 120 million %. I was literally going to like smack him in the face with my bobber if I was casting. But anyways, that's probably the worst one that I've had.
So what did he do?
He ended up moving on. He
threw rocks at him enough to where he left.
He kind of threw a little bit of a fit, and he just
We've all
ended
been
up
beaten to
moving
a
on.
hole.
Yeah,
We've all been
and I
beaten.
just it's one of those things. It's like, get up earlier.
No, because
That's why I hate that fishery.
that's like this one.
Well, and this
fishery.
wasn't even that fishery.
Yeah.
This was.
But any fishery where I have to just get up too early, I just
Right. Like the fishery
Yeah.
that we blew up with our 100 fish deal, that we had to wake up and meet the guy at 1 o'clock in the morning to go
Ridiculous.
sit in the dark for 4 hours. We were trying to build a fire. It was so miserably cold and rainy, and then like 10 minutes before daylight, like 4 guys just like walked right in.
Oh,
just set up camp.
And then the second day, I was like, I'm not doing that. And so these guys all went down, and I just slept in the truck until daylight and then walked out.
My next best story would be, it's me and a bank fishing guy, and we're sitting there bobber fishing, a very well-known bobber spot. And this guy comes rolling in with his divers, and he's on his motor, and he goes to back his divers down. And I say to him, I'm like, hey, we're bobber fishing right here. You mind pulling off? And, you can join us. Like, it's no biggie. It can support a handful of boats. Doesn't say a word and just keeps on going. Just keeps on backing his divers down. And the bank guy goes, you know what? F that. Watch this. He takes his hook off, but he has the 2-ounce bobber on. And he casts right over all of his stuff. And he starts to reel his stuff in and crosses all of his stuff, drags all the diver gear in. And he goes, hey, bud, get the F out. If you want to fish this spot, you're going to have to bobber fish it like us.
I think
and straight up, the dude got out of there. He kind of had to. All of his diver gear was all messed up. I'm literally tangled. And, he ended up anchoring up below us and trying to fish for about 15 minutes. And
felt uncomfortable.
I think he got a little uncomfortable and left.
I feel like some of the worst situations, too, are like when you have areas that like a lot of people can fish and then one person comes in and wants to do it.
Do something different.
I've seen that at anchoring at the mouth of the Lewis, for instance. I've seen guys actually jump in other guys' boats. Yeah. I'll tell that. I'm not going to tell that story, but not good. My favorite story, though, from that guy, from my worst etiquette story, is back in the day. This is when I first started guiding. We were able to fish sturgeon above Washougal in the summertime. Yet another fishery gone to the sea lions. We'll talk about that later. But we had oversized sturgeon fish there in the summer. June, July, just throw a whole shad down, catch fish, whatever. And where that saying, I've been fishing this river. Okay, so we're at the power lines. It's a not a popular spot, but a good, productive spot. Mm-hmm. I'm out there one afternoon and got clients. And we caught a few big fish. And some guy comes up in a freaking, this is just to add to the story. He was in a trophy bayliner, and there's nothing wrong with a trophy bayliner. But sometimes those bayliners can really irritate me. And I got buddies who own them. Anyways, pulls up behind me like 50 yards, and I kind of stand up, give him the old like cross-eyed look, and he's like coming right. He's just idling up, and then he gets his buddy to crawl around the front, and he gets about 30 yards behind my boat. And I go, dude, we got lines out there 120 feet. And he literally goes, I've been fishing this river since you've been in diapers. I'm fishing here. And dropped his anchor. Just right, boom, right in my spread, right in my gear. And I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool. Well, about 2 weeks prior, I had an incident where I had an oversized, like, get around my anchor line when I was up fishing the St. Cloud Flats, another area that we lost to the sea lions, where a fish had gotten up around my anchor line. And, when that line is burning, it'll cut anchor up like spaghetti. And so I sat there and I told my clients, I go, just be cool. I go, we're going to take care of this guy. And so he starts fishing, and it wasn't like right away, but short time later, 30, 40 minutes later, getting oversized. He starts biting one of the rods, hooked the fish up, and it was on like one side of that guy's anchor line. And so I undid my anchor because a lot of current there, and I drifted on the other side of that boat. And what that did is it ran the braided line around the rope of his boat. And it was like burning because we were drifting down. He was drifting down, but everything was getting wrapped around that guy's ankle.
Oh, perfect.
And it was going, bink. And all of a sudden you see the front of his boat go, boop, and just start drifting back.
He had no idea, too.
That sumbitch's anchor line like that. Oh, my God. Smoked him. He come flying like, you could see like he just had this look like, what's going on? Of course, our fish was still on there because the braid he'll cut that nylon rope like nothing. And he comes flying out, looking around, everything, starts screaming, I'm calling the sheriff. What did you do? You cut my rope. I'm like, bro, hazard of the river, dude. You anchored there. Like, he circled my boat for half an hour and kept saying he was going to call us. I'm like, call him. Like, got 5 guys here that said that
I'm fighting a fish, bud.
I'm fighting a fish, bro. I'm busy. What are you doing right now? Oh, you're not fishing. That's what. Like, I was a little younger. I was quite a smart ass to him, but I told him to call the cops. Cops never came, but anyways, he learned his lesson. So that was one of my favorite. Don't be a D-bag.
No, yeah, there's absolutely. And I think that's the biggest thing with the etiquette is like, dude, most anglers,
Get along in the sandbox.
Yeah, we all get along, dude. If you just talk and communicate with each other and be nice, we could all fish together.
That guy, instead of thinking he knew what he was doing, could have literally came up right, but there was nobody. It wasn't like we were in a giant hog line. I was by myself. Like, he could have came up, anchored 20 yards. Hey, mind if I anchor it? Yeah, sure. Let's get some more bait in the water. Like, no problem. But wanted to be just an absolute freaking ding dong.
Well, you know my story. You know my bank story. That's the exact same.
Is still laying at the bottom of the Washougal. Anyways,
I said, you know my bank story. That's the exact same. It's like the same exact thing. It's like we showed up, get to a spot, we're fishing it. We've been there all weekend camping, and these guys just show up. And they pour out to the bank, and instead of being nice and being cool and being like, "Hey, you mind if we join you?" They just like got out all tough guy and like set their rod holders like right next to our rod holders. And my buddy Lonnie was like, not gonna take that because he's Lonnie, and so he like gets out of the tent and he's like in the guy's face, like, "You're not fishing here. Like, go fish somewhere else. We've been here all weekend, like trying to be nice to the guy." And the guy won't move his stuff, so then Lonnie takes his rod holder and throws it like 80 yards out into the Columbia. And then they're like in each other's face, like yelling at each other. And the other guy's like ignoring and starts running his line. Like starts running his line out like right next to ours as Lonnie and the other guy are like yelling at each other. And Lonnie's like, then starts proceeding to yell at that guy. He's like, "If you run your line out, I'm cutting your line. I'm going to cut your line." And he says that like 3 times. And the guy goes, "You threatened to cut me. I'm calling the cops." And so then he calls the cops, says that Lonnie threatens to cut him. They sit out there and wait next to the pilings for like 45 minutes. The cops show up. They come to the bank. They ask our story. They go to the other guys. They tell the other guys' story.
And they can obviously see it. You guys were there long.
They come right back to our bank and they're like, "We have someone downriver that's literally drowning." And they have me and Lonnie and the other 2 guys. And the cop comes back to the bank, both of us all standing there together. And he's like, "We have someone down the bank that's literally drowning, and you guys are making us sit here over an absolute stupid fishing dispute." And he goes, "Who was here first?" And we go, "We were." And he goes, "You 2, leave." And that was it. That was like
the golden rule.
Yeah. And it was like, and then those guys have proceeded to do that like year after year. Like they come back every year when we're there, and they try to like bully us. And most of the time, Lonnie hasn't been fishing there the last few years. It's just been me and a few other buddies. So like last year, I wasn't there when it happened. So we haven't really gotten into it with the guys. The fishing's been so good that those guys can literally come. We just don't even deal with it. We just let them do what they want to do and catch their fish and just not fight with them because we don't want it to ruin our time. But again, same rule. It's like we're there first. And dude, those guys, if just like I told you, if they would have came up to the bank and just been like, "Hey, we mind if you join?"
Squeeze in? Yeah, it would have been no problem.
We would have been like, "Absolutely, we'll run your rod for you."
Yeah, because the last thing you want on a bank is a guy not doing your program.
No. Yeah. So it's just, I feel like the biggest etiquette thing, you guys, is most anglers are pretty decent if you just talk to them. Always.
I would agree.
Always. Okay, so we got a couple minutes here, maybe 5, 7, 8 minutes.
I could tell the one story about the guy that anchored in the hover hole one time.
Are we just going to tell stories the whole time? We're not going to touch on it.
It just all goes to the same point. Like just, just don't be that guy.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Yeah, and that's the other big thing. Cam already kind of touched about that. Yeah.
If you see 5 boats anchored in a spot, you might not be able to fit in there because it's probably at its max capacity with the 5 boats and 10 bobbers flying through the hole. Yeah.
If you see
you never know.
40 boats trolling there, don't think that you're going to just drop your anchor in there and think that you're going to do what the troller's doing, because there's a reason why the trollers, and vice versa too. Like there's some areas that do really good for anchor fishing that the trollers aren't going to do very good, and they generally take those spots. And it's like, it's kind of a reason why, especially if you're the new guy.
How long do you think it's going to take for people to start jigging at the mouths like that one kid's been doing? Because he is absolutely wrecking them. He's been getting them good. And yes, he has been snagging a couple, I will say that. But, dude, he catches the heck out of them at the mouth right there, jigging. Like, above average of what everyone else is catching, for sure. Even out fishing a lot of. How long do you think it's going to take before guys start jigging, like we've been talking about, like big dart spoons and stuff at the mouths of some of these rivers? Because that guy last year, like every time I went by that guy, he had a fish on, and he's been spot locking there, right where the guys hover and jigging. and he's got a TikTok account.
Okay. I know.
He's got a TikTok account, and he's been posting his videos on
Yeah.
TikTok, and he's
I
been
mean,
smashing them.
The thing about it is, though, where he's going.
I brought that up because it's a different thing. He's doing something totally different than what everyone else is doing.
But he's not hurting. Like, you're not throwing a 300-foot anchor line in front of like 40 trollers and like not allowing 30 other boats. Like when you're jigging like that or hovering like that,
You're staying in the
straight
same
up
hover
and
down.
down.
You're straight up and down, and that's really what all those other guys are doing too. But I do know who you're talking about now too.
That guy kills them, dude.
Yeah, he was getting them. I brought my bass boat out there a few days later and did the same.
I'm doing more of that this year.
Yeah, it worked really good.
It's way more fun.
And everyone's like, "What are you doing in your bass boat?" I'm like, "I was already at the Counts this morning." And with the other boat.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, no, I think, but again, he's not interfering with what the program was going on there. Like he was kind of up on the shelf, kind of doing it a little bit by himself, and then also too, where he was trying to jig, there wasn't a lot of current there for like the hover guys to like have their gear working as much. So he was kind of doing that off to the side, which is great.
Yeah,
I mean, we learned something new watching him.
I enjoyed watching him. I follow him on TikTok. He's got some cool videos.
Yeah, he was hammer. I do remember that.
Yeah, he hooked an oversized sturgeon too in there.
Did he get that one?
Yeah, he fought it.
Oh, he landed
his
it?
TikTok. Yeah,
That is
Wow.
pretty cool.
I figured it might have been somewhere else other than the.
No,
the mouth.
no. Actually got it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, actually got it, which is crazy. Yeah, super crazy.
One last tip of advice that I always see, and I think it reigns true, is like he who yells first is usually always the person in the wrong. Like to me, like other than like kind of like yell, like the guy who always wants to like escalate it and yell it, like to me that's always the wrong person. Like whenever I see it out there, like I don't know, I just feel like that's always like the one guy like trolling with like 4 ounces of lead at the deadline. Like he's always yelling at the next boat, and it's or the guy that didn't want to make any little trolling adjustment because he wanted to just troll his little Minn Kota motor straight as a board, and because he's on
up in between his two little windshields with his remote, like
because he's on autopilot.
Here I go.
And you have to move for. He's always I don't know. I just feel like Anyway, he who yells first is usually wrong.
Or the guy that wants to land a fish and look at it for a minute, laying in the bottom of his boat while he's floating downstream while everybody's trolling
He's got a
upstream.
fish on. You're supposed to avoid him.
No, he had a fish on. He has it landed laying in the bottom of his boat.
He's got to make the Instagram post, bro.
Drive your boat.
Yeah, that is one
you are
thing.
kinda
Like when you try to get out of the trolling lanes for sure. Once I always try to drag the fish out if I can one way.
That guy asked me if I wanted to go to the bank.
Well, because if not, it's a
Dude, he was like 65 too. I was like, bro.
Just laugh at him.
I literally
Did
just
he yell
kept
at you
trolling.
first, or did you yell at him first?
I told him, I saw him.
Jason clearly.
Oh, I did 100%.
Jason,
I saw him.
nice to the
I saw him
elder generation.
land the
Respect your
fish,
elders.
scoop the fish, get it in the boat, and he's just floating back.
Was he by himself?
Nope, 3 other people in the boat, floating back, floating back, floating back. And I'm like, hey, drive your boat, drive your boat. Hey man, you're floating back, drive your boat.
Hold on, was this like Angry August?
No, this was
like September?
piss September.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, okay,
This was like the 15th, 16th of September.
You're already about 3 weeks in straight, and you're just like over it already. Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, he goes, man, I was landing a fish, and I kind of went off on the guy. I was like, dude, you have had your fish landed for over 30 seconds. Like, look up, know where you're at, and drive your boat.
Dude, I'm making it a goal this year. I'm not getting into it with one person.
That was the first.
You've already failed this year, by the way.
Nope.
So you've already failed this year. You said this year, like as in from
On the river.
2026 on the river. You've already failed that. You failed it about a month and a half ago.
Oh yeah,
Who did I get?
I heard about that.
Merlin.
Oh yeah, damn it. Dang it, I did already fail.
We can just say
Okay, well then the
we
fall.
can just say for the
From the
fall
fall-
season.
for the fall
For the season.
I'm not getting into it with one person.
Beautiful, as you should. Yep. The only person I got into it this whole year, this whole last fall, was EJ from Catchstone because he snagged me. Because he was out at like 140 and he snagged my gear. And I'm like, what are you? I'm like, do I have you? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I just cut my flash. I'm like, get it back to me later. Never got my flasher back. What a dork.
He stole it, dude.
Freaking
Stole
EJ.
my flasher, my spinner.
All right,
Good times, guys.
Well, we got to do more podcasts on these etiquette things because I think there's definitely a lot more that we need to cover. So we'll do another one, guys,
absolutely.
on top of adding what we've talked about. We kind of got derailed on all the stories, but hopefully you guys enjoyed them. They were pretty funny, I think. So
Yeah.
it was good. Yeah.
We'll have more next week.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, everyone. Thank you again for listening. We appreciate you. Till next time, we'll see you on the river.
Cheers.